Now, live from Artie's Cut Rate Liquor Store, shooting range, candle shop, bowling alley, massage parlor, it's the Dave and Doc Podcast.
Hello, hello.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
Hanging out. No doubt.
No doubt.
About to shout.
It's Thanksgiving Eve, or close to it.
We have not been drinking.
No, actually, that's the problem.
We did have some Captain D's. So.
Oh, God, we loaded up.
Whew, man, I'm telling you.
It is episode 82. I've got grease on my lips. Forget I said that.
My
It's
grease is on your lips.
82.
My bum is on you. What? Sorry.
Episode 82 of the Dave and Doc Podcast. I'm Dave.
And I'm Doc.
All things Dave and Doc on our website at daveanddoc.com. That's Dave A&D Doc, DOC.com.
Yes.
Woo.
Getting after it, man. I'm gonna go ahead and apologize up front. I sound a little stuffy. I had a little laryngitis this weekend. I do have some Gatorade in case I get a little coughing fit. So don't really feel bad. But interestingly, one of the nurse practitioners
horse.
in my office, she got a little horse. What do you call a sick pony? I'm a little horse. Wilbur. She had laryngitis, and for some reason I got it, and so did her nurse. Which the nurse part makes sense, because I'm like, how did I get it? I don't know.
Well, I mean,
No controversy. No, stop it. No. Negative, sir.
There was this one time at band camp.
No. Anyway.
Well, I mean, in an office like that just happens, right? Because, people are sneezing and shitting and farting and
Oh,
whatever
man.
else.
Right. And I mean, the ventilation, it's a shared
And then you have the
system.
patients. It's even worse then.
Right. Oh, man. I'm not going there.
It should be.
We're not going there.
Your office
We're not
should
gonna
be
go there.
colder, shouldn't it? Isn't it supposed to be really cold?
So it's interesting. Yes, we try to keep it cooler. The tricky thing is the way some of the thermostat stuff is set up is a little odd because they built that building in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've actually all the units
the 1890s.
the 1890s. Right. That's when we got our TV.
Yeah. Yes.
We've replaced all the AC units. So, I mean, all those are brand new, but the way they like set up the ductwork's kind of weird. Like my office ties in with the lobby. So like when there's a ton of people in there, like the air will kick on to try to keep it colder, but it's hotter in there. But then my office will be like an ice box because it's just me. Even though there's plenty of rooms and space in between my office and the lobby.
Well, it's probably because, you're the HVAC.
Just to justify that.
The HVAC is connected to the Wi-Fi there.
It's right at the front.
Installed by the same person that did the TV.
Upside down. That's right.
It should be like living in an igloo in there. That's what it should be like. Inside joke,
Folks. Oh my gosh.
If you
know igloo, if you know, you know.
you know.
That's right.
Right?
That's right. Watch out for jokes, especially from Thutton. Anyway, speaking of jokes and Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
we're gonna do some. I almost retired him last week after my knock joke, but I really didn't want to do that. So we've got some Thanksgiving knock jokes, and I hope you enjoy these.
Okay.
Some of these are pretty good. Why did the turkey bring a microphone?
Why?
He was ready to roast.
Of course he was. God.
Is that your pop-up timer, or are you just happy to see me? What kind of turkey requires ID?
Wait, say that again.
What kind of turkey requires ID?
Oh, ID. Okay.
ID, not VD.
No, I thought you said IED. No, what? What?
IUD?
Yeah.
No. Insert baster. Deploy the fingers. That's not it. Shit.
That wasn't it?
Wild turkey. Wild turkey requires ID.
So that's okay. I get it. I got caught up there on other stuff. So
Why did they let the turkey join the band?
was a
Because he had his own drumsticks.
Of course they did.
What happened to the turkey that got in a fight?
What?
He got the stuffing knocked out of him.
Oh, well, that was close to what I was going to joke and say.
This is the last one. What's the best song to play while cooking a turkey?
What's that?
It's all about that bass.
You want to hear something?
The fact that you went immediately
Listen,
into a story of all about that bass.
I can tell you what. We talked about this probably over like last year, maybe. I don't know. We talked about at some point when what the song you hate the most is, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
And I said it was Fantasy from Mariah Carey.
You did.
I hate that song.
You did.
Hate it. Hate everything about it. A very close second, maybe even a 1A.
Meghan Trainor
is all about that bass.
You really
hate that song.
Did not know you felt that way.
It's all about that. Shove it up your bass.
Have you seen those shirts for like the moms for kids that play baseball? And it's all about that baseball, and it's like
of course. Of course.
I thought all about that bass was pretty good though.
No, the joke was good. It just, brought back.
It just brought back some bad memories.
Some PTSD for me.
Some Meghan Trainor.
Yeah. She's all about that bass.
No treble.
No treble. No treble.
No. Anyway.
So I hurt my hip.
Put my hand up on your hip. Freak nasty. The dip.
So the story behind it, and I tried to articulate this to you in a text message where you were probably like, "Hold it, dude, don't write me a story here." But it's like, it was so funny the way it happened. So Paxton was sick. He's our youngest. He was sick. And as little kids will do, it's not always easy to get them to like go to an area of the house or a receptacle that is appropriate to lose your lunch in.
Right.
Right. And he's 4. So.
And AF, you know, clean up and easily disposable.
Yeah.
That ain't happening.
No, he's 4. So it's like, you're lucky if he just doesn't look to the right and let it go.
It's like a drunk person passing out on the couch at a radio station at like 5:30 in the morning and throwing up right there at the door.
Hey, man. Who are you? I got the same question. So Lindsay was out and I was watching him, and like, he was throwing up pretty much consistently. Every time he'd take a drink, he would throw up. Right. And then they gave us some. It
was a bad day, man.
Some kind of meds that like fixed it, and he was fine the next day. But anyway, so I realized he's going to throw up on our like suede leather couch. Right?
Yeah.
So Dad goes in a full sprint, and I'm ducking down like I'm getting ready to angle tackle somebody, pick him up, and run him to the trash can. Now, he only weighs about maybe 50 pounds, probably more like 45 or whatever.
But he's solid.
And it's a full sprint.
He's solid. And, I mean, you're running like a 50-pound sack of potatoes.
Yeah. And then he's like in an awkward position, right? And like
right.
Got him like over the trash can.
Because, well, we also don't know you don't want to hold him close to your bosom while he's getting ready to throw up.
No. Who'll give Daddy a kiss? No. And so some
vomit in your beard. That would probably set you off.
It ends up going in the floor. And like I don't even get there.
Dave is triggered by vomit in his beard.
Right. And so I get like it goes in the floor, right? And I get him. Of course
it does.
I get him cleaned up, and he lays down and goes to sleep.
Right.
So it's like, okay, he's fine. So I'm cleaning it up, and it was about that time that after the adrenaline wore off, that I realized
we're hurt. You hurt.
Something jacked up, and like I'm like, oh wow. And the longer the day went, the worse it got. And the worse. And then I text you, and I'm like, dude, I'm hobbling. Like I'm Quasimodoing it around the house, like dragging my left, leg. Igor or whatever.
I think that was Frankenstein.
Was it?
Yeah,
whatever. They're all
Quasimodo was the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
They're all the effing same. It's all the same.
Is it?
It is. It's all the same.
Okay.
Monsters, Addams Family.
Wow, look at you throwing the monsters.
Mm-hmm. They're all the same.
Herman, Eddie.
What was the wife's name?
Was it Vivian?
Abigail?
No.
Gretchen? It was Gretchen.
No, it was not.
It was Gretchen.
Munster. I gotta look that up.
Was it Herman Munster?
Was it Joanne?
No, one of them was hot. It was like their cousin or something, and she was pretty.
Lily.
Lily. That's right.
Lily was and then Marilyn Munster was the niece.
Yeah.
Lily Munster was the Marilyn Munster.
Marilyn Munster.
Interesting.
So anyway, hip hurt for a couple days. I had to take the elevator
hurt,
at
yeah.
work.
You were hurt.
I've never taken the elevator at work. And I did because I could not walk up 3 flights of stairs. I just couldn't do it.
There was no love in the elevator.
No.
Living it up while you're going down.
No, none of that.
None of that. No.
Got to the lingerie floor and that was it.
That was it.
Yeah. So I thought I was going to have to get a shot in my hip,
Yes.
and I wasn't looking forward to that.
No.
It wasn't exactly my hip.
Needles were involved.
It was kind of like it was in that area though. And it even hurt my right leg. When I would lift my right leg up, it still hurt. Like the whole thing just hurt. And so all this, the reason I'm telling you this is
And this was number one, so this has been on your mind for a minute too.
this has been so it's like I'm really getting old. I mean, and I'm not getting old like I'm joking, like, oh, I'm getting a little older or whatever. Holy shit, man, I'm getting old. Shit's breaking down.
Yes.
I can't sleep anymore.
Yes.
And I mean, I've tried everything. Fentanyl. Just doesn't work. Doesn't have that effect on me. I mean, I'm roofied up right now.
I better watch out.
Right now.
I better watch out.
You better. But yeah, I can't sleep. And again, it's easy to say, well, you can't sleep. Well, no shit, moron, your hip hurts. But no, I mean,
regardless, because the hip feels better now, right?
the hip feels better now. And when I laid down at night, it would get
Do you
okay.
sing the Ghetto Boys? At night I can't sleep. I toss and turn, candlesticks in the dark, visions of bottles
That has
being
been a
burnt.
minute. That's been a minute. God,
Huh?
the Ghetto Boys.
How about that?
That's
right?
good, man. No, they were all about that bass too.
That's something.
Yeah, they were.
But yeah, I mean, so lots of stuff. Yeah, as you get older, I mean, that was kind of the point of the story. I mean, aging's no joke, and you really have to work about 10 times as hard as you start to age to try to fight back against it. And then that stinks because typically you're working harder within your job.
Yeah.
You're doing things with your kids.
Yeah.
You get busier and busier, and yet you need to focus more time on trying to help yourself to be as healthy as possible. And it just gets really hard. I mean, I feel your pain, man. And I mean, I read an article earlier this year out of Stanford University, and they were talking about the aging process, and 44 and 60 on the cellular level are the two ages where you see the most change in terms of the aging process. And they don't really know why it's those two ages. I mean, obviously you continue to change with age, but just scary stuff. So, you hit 44 and a big drop happens, and then you go beyond that and you're just like, oh my goodness, it's just a race and trying to fight. And again, awkward movements. I see lots of people all the time. That's how they get hurt, because I mean, how often are you going to have to grab a 50 pound, sack of potatoes and try to run in a sprint, 15 to 20 yards, if even that, 15, 20 feet, but it's the fast movement and the unexpected movement, and your body's not used to handling that. Next thing you know, you've hurt something.
Well, and
then it doesn't heal fast either, because your cell division slows down.
And it made me realize something. And you can write this down.
I'm ready.
Youth is wasted on the young. It's just the truth.
Right?
It is.
Because you sure don't appreciate it when you have it.
No, you don't.
I mean, they really don't.
I mean,
it's and a lot of people underutilize it. It's like you should be doing so many other things right now because your body can handle it.
you're 18 years old. They would have walked in here, saw all that Captain D's, ate that down in one bite, and then been fine right after.
Oh yeah,
It's like, no problem.
yeah. We're like dying.
I will know.
No
that
pauses though this week.
No, not yet. I will still know that I ate Captain D's tomorrow
Yes,
at about 10 a.m.
yes.
That's when I'll really
Yes.
know. 'Cause that's
You're on a schedule.
sometimes I am.
See, mine just surprises me.
I've noticed that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
speaking of
Sneak up on it. It's like Bernie Mac said about something else. He says like war. You got to sneak up on it.
so he's all about that bass.
He is.
Was.
God
What
rest his-
was all about that?
I
bass?
know.
So you're getting sick, things happening.
Body doesn't heal.
Your body doesn't,
Which is the
heal.
most frustrating part. You just can't get well. You're like, my leg has been hurting for 3 weeks. It should not still be hurting. But it does.
And I'm I'm all stressed out. And I'm not sleeping.
Right.
And I know you're trying to fix the.
I know we're okay. How now, brown cow? Charles in charge. Oh man. Oh, there it was. There. Got it.
You got it. Okay.
Bam.
And so I was thinking about things that I'm involved in, right?
Yes.
Because I pulled back from some of my activities, right? Because I'm busy at work and everything. And then I had this little thing dangling out there where I'm the president of the HOA.
El
And I started
Jefe. El
thinking-
Jefe.
I started thinking to myself, I said, Self, do you really want to deal with this?
Do you play Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangsta every night for the HOA by the Ghetto Boys?
Oh, I do not, because it does not feel good. So I'm done with that.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm officially resigning
Oh.
president of the HOA.
Is this like the first, is this like heard it first here kind of announcement?
No, the people that needed to know,
Yeah.
they knew. But and I don't know if anybody in the neighborhood listens to this or not, but the behind the scenes stuff and the people who are just experts at everything,
Oh.
but also do not want to they don't want to run for an office. It's like, well, if you're that good and you're that smart,
right.
and you have this
to
level
get-
of experience,
Right. Time to get involved.
then perhaps you should get involved.
Yes. Big yes.
Because clearly we
Yes.
don't know what we're doing. So I
Right.
mean,
that would never happen.
here's what's funny. Here's what's funny, man. And this is the honest to God's truth. Here's what I want.
That made your hip hurt.
It did.
Made you not be able to sleep at night.
It was. I want. Here's what I want. I just want a nice.
Tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Safe neighborhood. Right.
All right. I like it.
Where our kids can play. Right. And we can all see each other. We don't have to be best friends, but let's just be nice. And the biggest thing is one day when I sell this house,
Yeah.
I want to make money on it.
Oh, yeah.
And if my neighborhood's
would be
hot
nice.
garbage, I'm not going to. So it's like those are the things that I care about, right? And you've got people like being armchair attorneys and stuff. Well, I looked this up on Google, and on page 3 it says if the moon is full, that this criteria. It's like, dude, we have an attorney. Just oh my God, blow it out your ass. Just blow it out your ass. And I'm not doing it anymore. I'm just not. Like I just can't do it anymore. Like, I don't want to deal with these people that are all experts. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to help. These are the same dads that stand around the fence when their kids are playing football. I don't know why you're running that play, you stupid son of a bitch. Won't you run it to the left? I've been chewing tobacco for 15 straight minutes, and I know what I'm doing. Shove it up your ass, buddy. No, you don't. It drives me nuts when people try to simplify stuff that isn't simple. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks the same thing.
Happens all the time.
Of course it does.
I mean,
People come to your office all the time and they've already diagnosed themselves. Guarantee it. They don't want to hear yours.
Yes.
No. I have diabetes.
Yes.
No, you have a cold. No. I looked it up.
Yes. Yes, or I'm dying of some rare
Yeah.
illness that you wouldn't see unless you live in Botswana, and it's like we don't live in.
Yeah, I got bit by the fucking tsetse fly, the African sleeping sickness. Yeah, that happens in Knoxville a lot. Those tsetse flies are
Sorry,
everywhere.
Right. You do see a lot of that. Well, or people drop stuff off, like paperwork. Let's say it's paperwork, for example. And
That's not what I thought you meant by that.
well, they drop off pee and poop and
I was
all
going to
kinds.
say somebody pops.
People
there.
people love to do that. They'll just drop. Oh, here's some urine. I just want to see if they want to check it, and they just drop it off. It's like you don't even have a lab appointment. What is going on? Oh, let me just pee in this cup. Here you go.
I just wanted you to look at the size of this, Doc. Take a look at this.
Worst thing ever, man. I had a lady. This is terrible. Long story short, she brought poop in diapers that she pooped in the diapers and brought in a Walmart bag wrapped up.
So, one clarifying question.
Yeah.
Did she wear adult diapers?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you meant like
no.
Old girl went and bought some diapers to take a crap.
No. I think it was actually adult stuff. Yeah, we didn't. That was
just throw it away.
We
right?
did.
What can you do?
No, because when you do a real stool sample, like there's actually containers and
I keep them here
and special instructions, and they're color coded so you know what you're supposed. And I mean they do give instructions. No, and we threw it away because that was too much. And actually, I threw it away, and that's not a hey, good job, doc, but. The nurses were just really disgusted.
Of course
by that.
they were.
And I
gross.
was like, I'll take one for the team.
You should have called her and said, "Hey, we found corn in there." What?
What'd you do? Eat a bird? What is this?
Did you just fall out of the coconut tree? Oh, my Democratic friends.
So it's stressful, and people like there's a lot of armchair quarterbacks now.
Yeah.
Very quick to criticize, not quick to serve. And it's like, if you're going to get that fired up about it, then you should probably try to get involved.
Yeah, that's what I think. And
I mean, it's true. And I mean, yeah.
Out of confidentiality, I can't talk about a lot of it.
Sure. Well,
because I'm on the board.
Right.
And I wouldn't, but it's so frustrating when people who are not doing anything to help want to find reasons to be divisive, behind the scenes. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
And there's not that many of us. And we take a lot of time out of our day
to
work on this for free.
I think that's key too, is because it is a voluntary, based thing. And, and that's, you're doing it because you want it to be a better place where you're living at. Just like somebody that volunteers, for, I don't know, in any sort of service organization, whether it's something through school or something, through work. I mean, you're volunteering your time and you're in a leadership capacity, and yet these other people have no desire to serve or do anything, yet they will complain until the cows come home, or be so quick just to be so negative, and even to the point where they will. It's almost like they want you to be wrong,
of course,
just to prove their point. It's like, but if
it's exactly right.
But if we're wrong, that's actually really bad.
Yeah,
like we don't want to be wrong, or if we are wrong, let's find it before something else happens.
That's the only acceptable answer, is because it wasn't their idea.
Right.
True. It's like, well, I mean, I don't understand why we have to do it, because I don't want my neighborhood to look like a piece of shit. That's why.
Right. Because the longevity of everything is what matters. And we're playing the long game here.
We don't want to raise our dues, but we also want an Olympic-sized swimming pool installed. Oh, okay. Those are real cheap. Shit.
Pool? I mean, doesn't cost a thing, especially Olympic size. Gun night. You really want to you don't want to do a liner. You want to do gun night.
Yeah, I'd say get a backhoe up here, dig a hole, get some quickcrete, little quickcrete,
drop right in there.
Yeah. Couple wheelbarrows.
Let it rain. Throw some chemicals in.
There you go.
And you got a pool.
Just a couple old dudes out there, just rocking it out.
We can stir it. You can have like somebody that permanently stirs it, so you don't have to have like the skimmer and all.
Yeah, it's like a little cauldron.
Yeah,
and then we can dye it in Halloween time.
Say double toil and trouble, fire burn,
I've got
cauldron
syphilis.
bubble.
something
dirty
up
on my dick. What's that green stuff? I think I'm sick.
Doc, something swam up somewhere in me that I ain't too comfortable with. And it seems like it's found a home. Yeah, so I just can't do it anymore. And I tried, and I've done it for over a year.
And that's when you know it's time to get out.
And it's like, I mean...
Time to go.
Nothing we do is satisfactory. Nobody wants to come to meetings.
A lot of armchair quarterback.
Nobody wants to come to meetings.
Effort.
Everybody just wants to chat away on Facebook. That's what they want to do. They don't want to come to meetings. They
Well,
want
'cause
to
it's-
complain.
But it's also easier to say something.
Of course it is.
Via the phone.
Keyboard warriors, man.
or via the machine, because when you get face to face, I've always found it interesting how when you actually come face to face in these meetings and
Way
different things, they surely don't have as much to say
Yeah.
when you're in person.
The
It's very
fire in their
interesting.
belly just gets tampered a little
Truth.
bit, you know?
Truth.
And that's actually when you can tell somebody's very convicted. When they are as much or more
True.
convicted
No, I agree.
than they were with you
I
on the
agree.
phone or
I
behind the
agree.
keyboard. It's like, okay, now we can talk.
Right.
And I don't have a problem with anybody telling me that I'm wrong, even though you're probably wrong, because how could I be wrong? No, here's the thing. I don't mind.
I thought
do
I
this-
was wrong once, but I was wrong.
But yeah, I was wrong. That was the only time. You know, I do this at work. Like I'm like, hey guys, like we can all have ideas. We don't have to stop because I said what I think. Like I'm asking you. Like, and I'm happy to have a healthy debate with somebody. You know, Dave, why do you think that way? Well, let me tell you. Why do you think Joe Montana is the greatest quarterback of all time? Well, it's because he is, dumbass. That's a different argument. But no, like
4-0.
I'm happy to have like debates with people and like that.
Yeah,
we
but
can do that.
but that's something that doesn't happen a lot nowadays anyway. It's just kind of a lost. Right. I think everybody wants to. Well, either people are very quick to judge and have a lot to say with very little to offer back in terms of helping to fix the problem, or people just want to. They just want it to be happy time. Everybody gets a participation trophy.
Yeah.
You know, and so there's nobody wants any conflict, and it's like, well, you can have constructive conflict. That actually is okay. You have to get into a little chaos and some conflict to make gains most of the time.
Generally, yes.
You know, so anyway.
Well, it's funny.
So that's stressful for you.
It's so funny how, as kids, you played that game. We called it gossip in Virginia, but some people call it telephone.
Yeah, the telephone. Yeah, that's what I figured.
In Virginia, we called it gossip.
Gossip.
Because that's what Miss Rasnick called it. Miss Rasnick, you probably are a listener, kindergarten teacher of mine. Love Miss R. If you're listening, I still call it gossip because that's what you said it was.
One of your all-time favorites.
Yes, loved Miss Rasnick. So to me, it's like, we played that game as a kid, and how true that game was for people in the same room with each other.
Right.
We do a bigger version of that now on Facebook because it becomes groupthink times a million. Because one person says, I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm with him. I'm not sure. I wonder if this is illegal. It's probably not legal, and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden, you've got 1,000 experts that don't even know what the hell they're talking about.
And the original question or point is completely distorted.
Yeah.
And cancel culture is so huge. I mean, we've talked about this before. And so everybody's looking to try to do it now. At this point, it's like, oh, that's it. You know.
And it's like, it's...
Time to hang it up, man.
I just can't do it.
Time for you to get away from that.
And, I mean, it's like...
your hip hurts. We can't sleep.
Right?
At night, I can't sleep. I toss and turn.
I had a nosebleed yesterday morning, too.
You need a dehumidifier.
Here's the problem. I think one of the problems is I do have a fan, and sometimes it gets angled.
Humidifier.
Yeah, I know what you meant.
Cool mist humidifier.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes.
I probably do. I don't know. I got problems, man. I can't sleep. I got nosebleeds. I'm the president of this HOA.
I think you need to give up the HOA.
And that's done.
Bam. Put some Aquaphor in your nose.
That's done at like...
We'll hit you with some meds.
That's probably going to be done 1st of December.
There you go. So quick, soon. Good.
I'm done with
That'll
it.
help.
That'll
help.
I'm probably never going to another meeting. You just tell me.
Pay your dues.
Just tell me what's going on.
Pay your dues, and that's it.
Yeah. If I can't have chickens, somebody will tell me. And I'll get a letter. It's fine. I don't care. Dave, you got chickens in your front yard. That's correct. Why do you have chickens in your front yard? I don't know. The nose against the rules. Well, it is. All right. I'll put them in the backyard. Problem solved.
You can have one per acre.
Actually, no, I'm going to get on Facebook.
One per acre.
Telling me to move my chickens is illegal because I looked it up in Netscape Navigator.
That's right.
On altavista.com.
Netscape Navigator. Oh, my God.
I went to ask Jeeves, and Jeeves said...
Ask Jeeves. Man. Look at you going. Look at you going way back.
Oh, yeah.
Man. This has really bothered you.
It has. It really has. Like I've been really stressed out, and work's very stressful right now.
Well, sure. No, understand.
And again, there's people at work that I work with that listen, and like even a couple of our bosses.
That does not mean you don't like your job. This bothers not you. This is what
I know
bothers
exactly
me.
what you mean.
That is not what you said. You said work is stressful.
Yeah.
My work is very stressful.
Yeah.
Your work is very stressful. Most people's jobs, let's just call it, most jobs are stressful.
If you care about your job and try to do a good job, it's stressful.
Right. The point is, when you try to do a good job, your job it's going to get stressful, and it's going to take a lot of time, and there's going to be certain things that you're going to need to do if you're looking at that as your vocation and your avocation. That does not mean you do not like what you're doing.
I really like what I do.
Right. And you like your job, you like where you're at, you like who you work with.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean every now and then there's that one person you want to kick their ass. That's not what I'm saying. There's no doubt that exists. And if other people aren't talking about it, then you probably the one that they want to whoop. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's legitimate, but no, you do enjoy your job. But yeah, if you're trying to do a good job, guess what?
I do.
Welcome to the stress.
And I try to get to everybody. And the company I work for is a West Coast company. I'm not getting choked up. I was trying to swallow that drink.
West Side.
And so they're West Coast, right? So like when my day should technically be over, add 3 more hours.
Because you got 3 more hours.
And so I try to get to everybody every day. I try to be available for everybody all the time. And again, I don't mind doing that. It's my job, and I enjoy doing it.
Because I'm going back to Cali. Cali.
But it gets stressful.
Going back to Cali. I don't think so.
You
didn't even react to that.
No, I heard.
That pisses me off.
No, I heard you.
You didn't even make a eyebrow. It's fine. You're like LL Cool J.
I don't.
Man, don't even say it. Don't even say it. Oh my goodness. Mama said knock you out.
I like LL Cool J personally.
Quit.
Like he's funny and and that dude broke into his house that time.
Yeah.
And he held him on to the ground, called 911, said, "Nah, he's all right. Take your time." And told him he was making bad decisions in his life and hugged him before he got taken away.
Yes.
You don't mess with LL Cool J.
That's right.
I had the album.
Yes.
But it's that's the only thing he ever did that I liked. Like Mama said, knock you out. After that, there wasn't anything.
You're
else
like head sprung.
No, I didn't. It's
Lord of mercy, if the broad is thirsty.
It's like that band Sponge.
Oh man, now
They had one song called Plowed, and I love that song. I still love that song.
but that was,
Like Matthew Sweet, the song Sick of Myself, love that song. But I mean, I don't listen to Matthew Sweet's greatest hits if it exists. Yeah, it actually does exist.
don't say he had more.
Yeah, but it's like Sponge.
Yeah,
No,
I get it.
the Meat Puppets, right? Like they had that one song called Backwater that was really good, and I ain't listening to no Meat Puppets anymore.
Oh my goodness, I'd completely forgotten.
You remember the Meat Puppets?
Yes, I do, dude.
Yeah.
You didn't like the Crash Test.
Will
dummies,
never
did you?
change.
You didn't like the Crash Test, dummies, did you? You did? No, you did not.
I didn't like it
okay,
at all.
good.
No.
Okay, thank you.
I just remember that song, and it was on my list to play
Oh man, I bet
on
that
radio.
bet that drove you crazy.
Well, I didn't know how to introduce the song, right? Hey, it's a 7:05. It's a nice 64 degrees outside. Good cruising weather out there. Coming at you with some Crash Test dummies with. That's how I would do it. But coming at you on the station where rock and roll lives. 100.7 FM WRIC. Coming
The
at
Rick.
you. The Rick. We got a good radio story coming up.
Oh boy, yeah.
Well, it's not really a radio story per se, but it's.
So what are you going to do? So you're going to give up. You're going to give up the HOA,
I am.
and you're going to feel better. And then what are you going to do? We're going to work, have family time,
We're gonna have some family time, and as you
do the podcast,
do the podcast. The podcast is therapeutic.
and then you won't be. Then you won't have to worry about any judging or
no
backseat brawling, advice given, quarterbacking.
and it's that time of year, right?
It is.
We should let things kind of roll off this time of year because it's such a happy time of year. And this is actually my favorite holiday.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it always has been. I love Christmas. I love Christmas.
Thanksgiving is a special. Gobble, gobble, goo, and gobble,
Yeah, I
gobble,
was gonna
giggle.
say.
I hope that turkey only costs a nickel.
I still remember the Saturday Night Live.
Because it's
Pump It Up.
turkey for me to
Turkey
eat.
for you.
So good.
I like to eat the turkey in the big brown shoe. You remember Chris Rock pumping the turkey up? You got to pump it.
It up.
It was Nike, Nikey.
That was good stuff.
But so I love Thanksgiving. I love this time of year.
Yes.
And so I wanted to ask you, what's some of your favorite memories of family memories or any past, present, or future? I don't know.
So mine are, growing up, mine are pretty basic. We would go to my Grand Margaret's house.
Yeah.
And it was my dad's mom and stepdad. And, we would always have Thanksgiving with
Traditional food.
traditional food, the turkey, the dressing, the cranberry sauce, all the stuff, and so, and then we'd watch football, and they lived in a simple house, nothing too crazy, had a nice backyard in it, fenced in, but again, lots of walnut trees and things. So I'd go out there and we'd play, and I'd hit the walnuts with the old broomstick handle, just different stuff like that. So I don't really have any crazy, nothing ever got burned, it was never, now I didn't love driving the hour to Oak Ridge. From I thought I was going to die, and my sister would give me so much hell over it, because she'd be like, "You should have been there when we had to drive from Jackson, Mississippi to here. It was 9 hours. You would have died." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I probably would have."
Sorry, I didn't experience that.
I'm like, my head hurts and I need to breathe. Roll down the window. They had to make up landmarks for us to drive. So that was always kind of funny, when I was growing up, because man, I hated being in the car. I had to ride in the back.
Yeah.
And car seats weren't really a thing then.
Yeah.
So I'm like crawling around the back. Well, no wonder I felt sick as could be, because now I know it's like, oh, if I ride in the back, as long as I look straight ahead and I'm not, I don't get sick. But as a kid, nobody tells you that.
Of course not.
So, of course, I'm sweaty. My head's hurting.
Yeah.
Trying to get to Bull Run Steam Plant, if you know.
Pants are off.
I don't know. That was later. But I will say, the first Thanksgiving that I ever went to with my wife, she was not my wife then. We were dating, and
Did she know you guys were dating?
She did.
Did she just wake up in a car?
No,
Is that what
no.
happened? Okay.
Yeah,
I know your wife. I can ask.
her pants stayed on. There was nothing suspect going on.
She woke up in the back seat of a car. Like,
No, there's definitely none of that.
but then you said we're going to a nice dinner. She's like,
That's
okay,
right. It's all good.
I'll give you
That's
another
right.
couple hours.
That's right. That's it. Yeah, she took pity on me.
Yeah.
So I had worked the night before in the ICU at UT in my training, because every fourth night, because we didn't have enough residents then, you had to have a moonlighter. And so that was somebody, and you could have two people. That was you took the shift, it started at 7 p.m. and you went till 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And so anybody that came in overnight, you admitted them, and then anything's going on during the night with any of the patients that were in the ICU, the medical ICUs, you had to take care of them. And you did get paid money to do that. And of course, when you're not making really any money as a resident, sometimes you need a little extra spending money. So I would take those shifts.
Yeah.
And when I was chief resident, kind of like the leader resident or whatever, in my third year, you had to make up a schedule for ICU and stuff like that. So I had to do that. So if somebody didn't take the shift and I couldn't find anybody, then that meant I was probably going to be the one that had to take it.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it didn't ever really end up that way. But also because of bills and everything else, I needed to work 2 ICU shifts pretty much every month.
Yeah.
So I was on call that one because nobody wanted the one before Thanksgiving. Everybody wanted to be free and clear, which was fine. And so I took the call, and honestly, it was not a terrible call. It was just busy. So I didn't get any sleep, and I had been up the whole day because I was, my other rotation, I was on all day with it. And so, I didn't end up going to bed. So like we go to lunch, and I've been up for, literally without sleep, because I had gotten up at 5 the previous, so I'd been up for 31 hours basically. And, and I was fine. Now Laura she drove the car, I did scandalous. I went to her house when I got off work. I took a shower.
Yeah.
we were separate. Okay. Again, pants are on, nothing's anyway.
It was 2 shower heads, but you were back
No,
to
there was
back.
none of that. No.
Okay.
I didn't have time. I was too tired.
Right.
Anyway.
It's like, yeah, you know what?
So we go, and so then I'm like meeting her extended family for the first time too.
Yeah.
And, I didn't have any sleep, and so and they're just kind of like, "You did what?" I was like, "Yeah, I've been up for 32 hours."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Really?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And I'm like, "I'm actually I don't have to work Friday, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna be able to sleep today, and I don't have to go to work tomorrow." And they were like, "Oh." You did that for what? I said, because I need to make extra money because they pay us to cover the moonlight shifts.
Yeah.
So that was kind of interesting. Explain that to people, and I and I don't think they could really get the fact. I mean, I wasn't high. I wasn't out of my mind. I could carry coherent conversations. They're like, you haven't been to sleep for 32, but I was like, yes. So it ended up, I was up for 40 straight hours.
Yeah.
I was okay. I don't know if I could do that now because I'm kind of out. But I mean, at the time, when I was in my early 30s, I mean, I could do that. So that's one that always stands out to me because people they just look at me like I was nuts. Because I mean, if you've never done that, it's just not something.
No, it's definitely
So that was one of my fonder ones. The other one was actually it was the year before. I was actually on call as the upper level resident on the house staff medicine service.
Yeah.
And we had just started the day and we get a call to the surgical floor, which was 11 East at the time. And this dude, we go up there and it's not the patient that they've called the code on. It was like one of the family members.
Oh, no.
This dude is laid out in the floor. And I mean, he's what we call dusky. I mean, this guy is dead.
Yeah.
I mean, he's dead. And so we immediately start CPR, start trying to do life-saving measures. The code teams showing up, we put in, when you have trouble, because we didn't have any IV access, and it's kind of hard when you don't have any circulation. So you actually put an IV into the bone. Let's call it an interosseous. So you can put it into the humerus, you can put it in the knee. The tibial tuberosity, two finger breadths below that in the tibia. This was before the humerus became the preferred spot. So we actually put it in the tibia. So I actually ripped this dude's pants off right there.
Yeah.
So his pants came off. I put in one in each tibia. I mean, it's a drill. It's like a regular, like Black & Decker drill with a needle bit that, I mean, Anyway, so we're doing that. They get him intubated. Before that, we got his blood gas level back and his CO2 level, which is normally less than 40. His was incalculable. It was over 120. So he was obviously not exchanging air at all. So anyway, we get this guy back. They intubate him. We give him some medicine. Of course, he was brain dead because he'd been down. But anyway, turns out this guy, he'd obviously taken something because the guy that was actually admitted had actually had a bad reaction in his body secondary to doing cocaine that had levamisole, which is a cutting agent and he had a vasculitis, a vasculitic reaction to it. And that's why he was on the floor. So his buddy had taken some whatever the heck he took and it killed him. And so he's dead. And so that was the other Thanksgiving that really stands out to me because, because my intern, Moses Asoru, God love him, he's a cardiologist. Shouts out to Moses. I don't know where you are now, but I hope life's treating you well, and you're a good dude. I used to love asking you all kinds of questions, and you would just eat it up and really try to be a sponge. But sometimes he would just say some of the dumbest stuff, and I would just get so tickled. And he was like, "Shane." That man was dead. He was dead, man. He was dead. And I was like, yes, he was. And he's still dead in his brain, because he never woke up. We got him a pulse back and he was quote alive, but he was not really alive. So those are two things that stand out in terms of Thanksgiving. So I don't really have like any happy go turkey moments, but I do have some crazy medical moments. How about that? So I'm going to leave that to you for top that, man. He was dead, man.
Well,
cocaine is bad.
When I was a Green Beret,
right.
I wore a raspberry beret.
10,000 men will come today, but only
So-
so many make green beret.
So there's really only two like things, and it's like a collection of like,
Everybody's pants stay on.
yeah, everybody's pants stays
Okay.
on. For at
Put
least
your pants
for at least a little bit.
Put your pants on. Put your. Ever heard that song? That's a kid song. Put your pants
No.
on. Put your. I'm like,
Never heard that
that's
song.
That's not a good. I'm like, where did this? Anyway, go ahead.
So my memories kind of like kind of conflate together, like of Thanksgivings at my grandmother's house, and then when we were doing them at my mom and dad's house.
Ah, yes.
Right.
Yes.
So grandparents' house and then mom. So
Yes, I
two
got you.
separate memories.
Yes.
So at mom's house, mom and dad's house, as a kid, like I used to remember waking up on Thanksgiving morning, right? So you got to go pee. And you realize you don't have school, right? That's pretty cool. Sometimes it was snowing. It was in Virginia. And you start smelling the food, right? Like you start smelling the turkey and everything. Like one of my favorite things was to get up, get on the couch, like get under 1,000 blankets or whatever, and I'd watch the parade, right?
Oh, the
I'd
Macy's
watch the
things.
Macy's.
Look at you.
I would.
Yes.
And
my kids like watching that.
And like
They do.
I
They
really
do.
loved watching that as a kid, and like I still remember like as people started to come over, more and more food would get, and like all the families together, and we had a small family, but we didn't get together that much. So it was kind of cool to see everybody and see my older brothers and all that stuff. But grandma's house, that was the place to be, and let me tell you why.
At
First of all,
Mama's house.
Grandpa was the most soft-spoken, strong guy. You know what I mean? Like when he talked, everybody stopped because like, oh no, Grandpa's talking, right? Nicest guy in the world. Big dude too, like 6'2", big dude. Grandma never stopped talking. Ever. And God love her, she would say some of the funniest shit. I mean, to this day, we still laugh. Like Lindsay and I were just talking about it the other day, like some of the stuff. If she didn't like somebody, they were one of a couple things, right? That old girl or that old boy or that old man, you're one of the three, right? You fell into one of those cases if she didn't like you. And Grandma thought I was awesome for some reason. I don't know. But she liked, and she called me David.
David.
Yeah, T on the end.
David.
And she couldn't say anybody's name. Like my sister-in-law, her name's Cecile.
Oh, Lord.
She calls
Cecile!
she called her Purcell.
Oh.
Purcell.
It wasn't even close.
Stephen, my oldest son, Stephen, was Stevenson. And so I have two brothers, Jeff and Jerry, right?
Yes.
And it was Jerry, Jeffrey.
Why are you not
and
Jade?
David? I don't know, man. I don't know.
They couldn't think of another J name. Let's name him Dave.
Yeah, I guess they moved around the alphabet and landed on D after that. I don't know, but
Jurisprudent doctorate.
there you go.
That's
you
it.
And so when she would like see any of the three of us, she couldn't exactly remember our name right away. So it was Jeffrey, Jerry, David, and it's like eventually you're gonna get one right. My cousin Jonathan, right? We call him John now, but he was Jonathan when he was a kid. She called him Jonathan.
What?
Anyway, she just couldn't say people's names. She just couldn't. She had a third grade education, but was wise beyond
Sure. No, I get
anything
it.
a school
I get
could
it.
teach
Right.
her.
Yeah.
She knew stuff that
Well,
nobody else
that
knew.
wasn't that uncommon to
No, it absolutely
go into school.
But their house was in a place called Mill Creek, Virginia. Now, I want you to think in your mind about what a place like Mill Creek, Virginia might look like, and you're probably right.
I see a mill. I see a creek.
And there was no mill.
There was no.
It was a creek, though.
Was there ever a mill? And that's how the town hustled, and bustled, and grew.
What I would still call that place
Cogwheel?
is
Did they have a
holler.
cogwheel?
No. I'd call it a holler.
Holler.
It was a holler.
It was unincorporated.
Oh, yeah. No running water, except for the creek. The crick. They had well water, right?
Did they hook up to the back of it? No, they had well water.
They had well water.
No.
Yeah. So
I had a guy get Giardia one time.
if you're drinking that
No,
sulfur
he had
shit.
his pipes to his house were hooked up to the local creek.
Oh, that's a stupid idea.
This guy also always had dip in. I mean, that man, he comes to me.
Do you ever realize that stuff kind of makes full circle?
It was a big dip.
Yeah.
And he'd be talking like this, but man, I got the poop. I've got bad poop, and I was like, man, what's your water situation? Oh, my water's good. It tastes good. And I said, where's it from? Oh, the creek. What creek? The creek that's out behind my house. I said, what? Yeah.
I'm actually glad.
And I'm like, do you treat the water? No, I've never treated it.
I treat it good. It treats me good.
Beaver fever had Giardia. Drinking the doo-doo whiskey.
I'm actually glad you said that because we're getting there.
Oh, my Lord. The Mill Creek. Because there's a creek.
So they're living at the holler. And this house, Grandpa built the house, right? And so, like, he built the house, and then he built an extension onto the house.
Of course.
The extension onto the house was on a slant. He didn't level it out. So we used to roll cars, like, down
You're
the little
lying.
slant. No. True story. One bathroom
Why
in
did
the
he
house.
not level it out?
I don't know, man. But at that point,
He must have been tired. He'd been like, forget this.
Yeah.
I pumped in
That's
too
close enough.
much energy. What's the worst that can happen?
but we used to,
we'll
like-
just have to slide down the side.
so we used to, like, it wasn't that.
No,
slow,
I
you know what
understand.
mean?
I
But,
understand. There was
like,
enough. I get it.
So, like, we'd let little matchbox cars
yes.
roll and stuff.
No, I got you.
Love going to Grandma's
Nobody was falling. I get it.
No. So there's one bathroom,
Oh, wow.
and you weren't allowed to use it.
I'm sorry.
Yes. So there was a shower, or in a tub.
Were
right?
you allowed
Tub
to use
shower.
that?
No. So when you went to Grandma's house, let's get to the dinner first. Let's just talk about the dinner. First.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Okay.
So a ton of people there in a very small house, right?
With one bathroom.
With one
That
bathroom
nobody could
that
use.
nobody can use.
Did they have an outhouse?
We're getting.
Oh, sorry. I'm spoiling. And we didn't reherse this, so I
Yeah.
don't know what's about to happen.
I promise I'll lead you home, man.
Okay, he got it. I don't.
Professional
I don't have to throw the ball. We got it.
So at dinner, right? You know, you get there and, like, you hear, like, you know, the sounds of, like, the oven, and then you hear the pressure cooker, you know, going out,
Yeah.
you know, whatever the hell it's doing. It's
Pressure
pressurizing
cooking.
shit.
Pressure cooking.
And like, she's got, like, all these little knickknacks and stuff around, and, like, her house is so full of stuff, like, not cluttered, but, like, nice stuff. Like, there's not a lot of room to navigate. It's a small TV and everything, but somehow we all loved it and found a place to sit and all that stuff. So anyway, so here's how dinner worked.
Because it was Mama's house.
It was. She was a great cook too. So she had more stuff than you could possibly want. And here's how it worked. When the food was ready, the men ate. When the men were finished, then the women would eat. And then the women would clean everything up and whatever. Funny story, my brother Jerry would sit down with the men and was still sitting there with the women.
Did he help clean up?
No, he just ate all the food. Still does the same thing. He'll be over here tomorrow. Or no, Thursday. And it's the same thing. There's always two things you know when Jerry's over, right? The first thing is you better have enough food. And number two, you'll know exactly where he sat at. Because a lot of that food's in the floor and everywhere else.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's not a neat ear.
No. He's the most violent salt and pepper shaker I've ever seen in my life. It's shit's going everywhere. So
That's why you've got. But what about with your?
no, well, not now. Now we've got the crafty little, you know, whatevers. So
They're electronic.
if you want to use the restroom at Grandma and Grandpa's house,
At Grandma's house.
you had to walk behind the house out this little trail past the garden. And then when you got to this little shed, right, little door, you go in, right? And I mean, exactly what you think, right? Like Grandpa had put a toilet seat there.
Did it have
right?
a little moon on the door?
It did not.
Okay.
But here's the thing that I always thought was funny. Well, actually, the whole thing's pretty funny. But the thing that I thought was the most funny was it was a two-seater. Now, you think about that for a second. It's a two-seater. Two-seater. Well, are you taking a date out there?
Now,
It's a two-seater, man.
now,
Not making this up.
did they use the other bathroom or did they go out there too?
Oh, no. That's where you went.
So they didn't use their bathroom either.
No.
Well, that's why.
Oh, when I say that you didn't, like, it
that's
wasn't
why
allowed,
they
like,
went.
didn't even do it.
They went together.
They were afraid they'd run out of water.
You're lying.
No. True story. True story.
Did they take a bath?
Well,
There was a two-seater
it was a two-seater. And
with a hole in the ground.
So it was a two-seater, and you got to picture kind of like a shack on the side of a cliff with like some boards holding it
Shut
up,
up. It was not dropping down the cliff.
like it's hot.
Dave, oh my God. You're making that up.
Like it's hot.
You are lying.
Nope.
Oh my.
And if you walked in if you walked in there and looked through the hole, guess what you'd see? Just a mound. No joke. Not joking. I remember taking a girl out there. We were up there for dinner. It wasn't Thanksgiving dinner. It was another time. I took her out there and she's like, I really thought you were lying. And I'm like, no, this is real.
Oh,
like it's hot, brother.
oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, how far down did it go?
Well, I mean, the initial drop
Oh my goodness. This is worse than I thought.
was probably about 3 feet, right? About a 3 foot drop. Below that, though, I mean, once it started rolling down the hill into the creek, that was more like 7 or 8 feet. Oh.
Is that what they got their water from? Was the creek?
Well, they had well water.
Where did it come from?
Well,
Deep subject. I mean, the groundwater has to come from somewhere.
I mean, the well was in a different location. Like
All right,
the creek
it was
feed
probably
into
okay.
it.
Well,
so
and they probably did treat it. I mean, they maybe.
I think they stirred it up with something. But yeah, that was Grandma and Grandpa's house.
They were afraid they were going to run out.
Oh yeah, they were super conservative because again, I mean, they lived in the Great Depression and like
two-seater
because you want to hold hands.
Drop it into the creek.
Honey, you grunt, then I'll grunt. and two rolls of toilet paper out there on little thingies. And so when you looked in the hole, right, like it was. Most people use the left one. Well, the right one if you walk in, left if you're sitting. But yeah, that's the one I always used. Is the left one.
Did it just feel better to your ass?
Well, sometimes it'd be a little nippy outside. It was always a little strange. And this is going to be gross.
You ever get a draft?
Well, so it was always strange when you sit down and you're getting ready to go and you're just sitting there thinking, this is a heavily wooded area. There's a lot of like critters up here.
Oh yeah, man!
Right?
Snake up the butt. Snake up the butt would be my first.
I'm
thing.
sitting there. That wasn't what I was worried about. I was worried about the nuts just dangling.
Oh, we got to hold them, man. You got to kind of do the.
Well, I mean,
the tugging.
And I mean, they're just kind of like swinging free down there, and it's like, man, there ain't nothing between me and a rattlesnake bite on the dick than nothing. Other than the rattlesnake's probably like coming up. It's like, oh, I got a victim. Oh, God, is that a big pile of shit? Never mind.
Man, did you ever go out there and like somebody
clean it up?
Like messed up the seat? Like sticky, like Hammer Time deuce-a-loose on the seat?
But you know what? If you did, you'd have to go back to the house to get water.
Oh.
To come back out there and clean.
So where'd you wash your hands at?
The sink. I mean, you could wash your hands.
Okay.
You had to be sparing though.
Oh.
Sparing. Yeah.
I don't think
they
didn't
drink the water.
I don't think you need to worry about the Captain D's ever again.
No, they didn't drink the water.
I don't think so.
I only drank the water one time.
How was that?
I know what sulfur tastes like.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, you're probably right about the Captain D's. Now all my medical problems are coming to light.
I was going to say, however, it does explain a few things. Wow. Two-seater, nuts hanging, dropping it.
Like it's hot.
In the 3-foot drop-off. And then as it gently ran its way down in a pool of sludge, it manifested itself into the creek about 7 feet lower.
Yeah.
Wow.
And there's a garden between that and the house.
I bet it's the best fertilized garden in the whole world.
Anything would grow in that basket,
my!
Man. Listen, you grow a banana
so
tree.
Basically,
out
you
there.
eat.
It doesn't matter. You plant it, they'll grow.
You're eating your own dude. Do.
I mean, it's very possible.
Oh my gosh.
You want some soup? No. No. Here's some soup. Oh shit. Oh God.
So
Those are my fond memories.
I can't really beat that. I mean, I had a guy he was dead. He's dead in the room. He was dead, man. He was dead.
I could have died from rattlesnake venom
To the nuts.
to the nuts. I got venom in my nuts. Doc.
I've got an enlarged testicle. Why a rattlesnake bit it?
Have you ever treated anybody with a snake bite?
I have not personally. That did happen. I was doing my ER shifts at UT, and we did have a patient come in that had been bitten by a copperhead.
Oh,
Yeah, they had been bitten. Now spider bites we have treated. Yeah, brown recluse,
Yeah.
black widow. That I did do some of that stuff, but never a snake bite.
any
I was
death
directly-
from that or anything, or just like some
No, this one
damage?
Yeah, this one guy had some pretty decent tissue damage to the this is the back part because of anatomical positions like this. So it was actually the back part of his hand. Yeah, he had to have some decent. He had to end up having some pretty big grafting, skin graft stuff because it just ate a hole.
It was from a recluse, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it was just one of those.
They're hemotoxic, right?
Look at you. Yeah, I mean, it was bad.
Vista print. It's just that. Hey man, you can't tell me nothing about doctoring. That shit was on page 4
It
of
was, that's
Google.
right, that's
it
it.
was in red.
That's it.
And it said, doctors don't want you to know this. Don't click on this
That's right.
ad.
Don't do it. Don't do it. That's right. So yeah. Spider stuff's no joke. It really isn't. But I never saw a rattlesnake. And I don't, tick bite. I mean, we get that in the office.
Yeah.
I've had to mess with that, and we get a lot of like cat bite, dog bite stuff now. No.
Where do you kill the dog at? Do you like drown him like in the sink or?
No,
Is it a violent death?
The owner usually takes care of that. Yeah, they usually don't want anybody to be told about it because they're afraid they'll sacrifice the dog. I'm like, your dog bit you. That's not, if it's somebody else's dog bites you, that's when they usually come and sacrifice the animal.
Your dog biting you is just funny. Your dog biting somebody else is tragic. That's how that works.
All right, that's what I'm like. I mean, nobody's gonna tell anything.
Do you want me to tell you something? God, we don't do transitional stuff.
No, it's squirrel all day.
Do you want me to tell you something I'm
Slay
really
all
sick
day.
of? That I'm
Yeah.
just really tired of?
I'm ready.
See, when you came in...
Moving on from the bites.
Yeah, so when you came in tonight, I was watching a show called Jail.
Yes.
Very appropriately named Jail.
V.
They did a focus group. What should we name this? I got an idea.
Jail.
On the 6th page of Google on altavista.com. But it's a cool show because it shows like after somebody's arrested, the booking process.
Right.
Like,
What happens after they've gotten in trouble?
And so I watch weird stuff. But one of the things that I like to watch is people getting arrested. Like I like watching DUI videos or people getting arrested for like whatever, right? Like I'll just watch hours of this stuff. Because again, like I told you, I don't sleep. So I got to fill my head with something. And so I could do something meaningful and read something, gain me some knowledge or something or help my career. I'd rather watch people get dragged down to the ground and, cuffs put on them.
Cuff them and stuff them, Roscoe.
Cuff them and stuff them. Drop it like it's hot. Oh, God. What was his name? Tweeter? Was his name Tweeter?
Roscoe P. Coltrane.
No, the other guy. What was his?
Cletus.
Oh, yeah, Cletus.
No, and then there was Enos.
Yeah, it was.
Enos.
His name wasn't Tweeter.
No, that was Varsity Blues. What the is that? Tweeter, tell me what prison's going to feel like. Huh? I don't know. What the is that?
His name wasn't Tweeter.
No. Was it he said he'd give him 5 Vicodin,
Yeah.
2 a Percocet, 2 a Xanax, and 3 beers, and the panties drop.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Because they're dead.
Right.
Their bowels also release. So, as I'm watching these videos, the people that argue with the police, men and women, which is, I don't understand why you do that. Just do what you're asked and just, be done with
Right.
it. Half the time these people would just get away, right? It's
Right.
like, I pulled you over for speeding. And, I wasn't speeding. You're a jackass. Or just say, yeah, man, you got me. It's like, all right, man, just slow down, right? But so here's what's just completely got on my nerves. And I've seen people talking to people like this too, is people that have to talk and clap at somebody at the same time. I can't take it. I just can't take it anymore.
Dave, what you doing, man? What you doing?
It's like every syllable that jumps out of your ignorant mouth, you have to clap your hands?
What made you think of that?
I don't know.
You know what I think happened? We were talking about getting sick and not healing. You went to STDs thinking of clap. And I don't like it when people talk and clap. Is that how that went?
Maybe. VD's certainly nothing to clap about.
Clap on.
I'm really tired of
Clap off.
that, though. It's like so hard to watch.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
I don't understand. Like,
I don't know. It's like it doesn't make it any more emphatic what you're saying. It doesn't bring any more weight to what you're saying.
No, it doesn't.
No more validity to what you're saying. It just makes you look like an idiot. Are you trying to fly away? Tweeter, are you flying away, Tweeter?
Anus.
Shit. His first name's Paul. So his badge says P period Enos. Penis and Tweeter? Get over here. His name wasn't Twiggle. What?
Stop. That's getting ready to go real bad. You know it.
Hey, Tweeter.
And you know it. Oh, my God. Right?
Get your P Enos over here,
Get your
Tweeter.
P-
I forgot about that show.
Right?
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah, man.
I had the kit. Like it came with the car, had Boss Hog in the car, and it had the Dukes of Hazzard car, the General Lee. And it had like the whole thing. Dad
Which is
bought it for me.
racist now.
Of course it is. It's a fast car. Nothing says racism like a fast car,
Dodge Charger.
right?
Dodge Charger.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink this Monster Energy, which probably offends somebody.
That's right. That's it. Just a good old boys. Never meaning no harm. Beats all you ever
Who did that
saw. Been
song?
in trouble. Waylon Jennings.
Okay.
Since the day he was born.
I don't know that, so
Straightening the curves.
God, you know the song, man.
Flattening the hills. Someday the mountain might get 'em, but the law never will.
Here comes Tweeter.
Making their way the only way they know how. That's just a
So
little bit
they
more
were-
than the law will allow.
They were race car
Just
drivers?
a good old boy.
Is that what they were?
They were kind of farmers. Wouldn't change if they could.
Uncle Jesse, right?
Yep. Denver Powell. Fighting the system like a do modern day Robin Hood. Yeah!
So they were farmers?
Yeah, and then I guess they kind of raced for fun. They didn't really have real jobs,
No, nobody did a damn thing. in that
running
town.
moonshine. Well, Daisy worked at the Boar's Head.
Yeah,
She was the waitress.
Yeah, she was.
Catherine Bach
Yeah,
as Daisy Duke.
9 to 2, she was a waitress.
Look at them girls with them Daisy
2 to
Dukes on.
2 to 8, you had to have an appointment. Oh,
Yeah, and they were always, they were just trying to do good things, but they were always trying to arrest them for, thinking they were up to no good.
well, they were.
Waylon Jennings is the balladeer.
They were hanging out with Tweeter. They'll do that. to
Tom
you.
Wopat and John Schneider.
Yeah, yeah.
Until they were on strike, and it was Coy and Vance. That was the worst. That was the worst.
They were their cousins.
They were their cousins.
because they were off.
They
in
were
prison.
Well, they were negotiating their contract.
No. I mean, on the
they
show.
no, they were out racing. They weren't in prison out there. I think they were actually out racing. Yeah, living it up, living that life.
Daisy Duke is being played by Elvira,
Mistress of the dark.
Mistress of the Dark. Holy shit, man!
It went way.
We're an hour 10 minutes into this thing.
Way.
So
squirrel,
okay,
way
so
squirrel. Bring it back.
So we probably only got time for like one more thing.
Yes,
Because we swore we wouldn't do any more hour and a half shows.
that's
and
right.
We're,
Here we are.
we're an hour and 10
I know,
minutes into
that's
it.
the way it goes.
So we've got the story I was telling you out there about little championship game, that little experience that I had. We can talk about the election.
Yeah.
We can talk about this kind of this or that. This is that.
This is that.
Speaking of Mike Tyson, this or that. His greatest opponent, the letter S. And we could talk Mike Tyson or Jake Paul. And then of course, football stuff, which just makes me depressed at this point. But
I think we got to talk some football. But here's the thing about Tyson Jake Paul.
Yeah.
That was bull crap. That was a scripted fight. Of
course it was.
That he could have totally knocked his butt out multiple times if you look at it. Now, was he gassed? I'm sure he was. Of
course he was.
Because he's 85 years old. But there was at least 4 times in that fight where he could have lit him up.
Yeah.
And if he had hit him with any amount of force, would have knocked him out. I don't care what anybody says, and that's disappointing because it was totally scripted.
I saw somebody sent me something. Or
Totally
I read it.
scripted, miserable.
I read something. Somebody sent it to me. I forget what it was, but anyway, whatever it was, I saw it, and it was a picture of Rocky Marciano. You know, 'cause he was 40-0 or 41-0.
Yeah, I think it's 41.
41-0.
I don't know.
And it said doctors look to exhume Rocky Marciano to fight Jake Paul next.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, right. No, I mean, Tyson could have hurt him, and he didn't. I don't care. I mean, I get he's old. And
Power's the last thing to go.
But I'm telling you,
he was quick,
if
too.
you were watching him actually move and you watched him in his training hitting that bag,
Yeah.
he had at least 4 chances to throw a legitimate uppercut, and he would have knocked that dumbass out.
Yeah.
And he didn't do it.
Yeah.
And there's no other explanation other than he thought he'd go and kill him.
He got $20 million out of it.
Well, I mean, he didn't care. But
That's
I'm
what
telling
it
you,
was.
that was that. Yeah. Anyway, football.
All right. So where do you want to start?
Gee, man, what a great Saturday for us. Everybody lost that need to lose.
You know
Now we
what's-
got to beat Vanderbilt.
You know what's funny?
Not, I mean, this is their Super Bowl, man. So it's going to be tough for the Vols. They have to play hard, get out early, and not play like crap in the second half like we did against Georgia.
I was telling somebody about Bama playing Oklahoma. Oklahoma's clearly not a good team this year.
And they're in the SEC.
Yeah.
SEC.
It was a good move for them.
Just means more.
But,
Looks good for Texas, though.
But it's funny because I told somebody, I think it was at work, I said, listen, that's not a cakewalk for Bama. And they're like, are you kidding me? And I'm like, Brent Venables knows that offense.
Correct.
And he's beat it before. It's the same offense for the most part that Saban ran. And I'm telling you, like Brent Venables, if you say, dude, you got to win one game, he's a defensive dude. And again, they scored, 17 points? Mm-hmm. So there you go. He's not an offensive guy.
They only had 3 for the longest time.
Yeah.
It was 24-3 for a long time.
So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still can't believe it happened. But, yeah.
That was more shocking to me, honestly, than really and truly than Ole Miss getting beat, honestly.
I kind of saw that one coming. Florida's they've gotten better, unfortunately.
I'm telling you, man, they have these late, they it's like last year when their signature win, they beat us, Mm-hmm. He does just enough to survive. They'll probably win this weekend. Sorry. They'll get bowl eligible. It's just a couple things here and there, and people are like, "Oh, we're not as mad at Billy Napier."
What about Lane Kiffin now, though?
I mean,
who else are they going to get to be the head coach there, though?
I would not go there if I was him. I mean, like I said, Napier's got he's got their vote of confidence or whatever. I wouldn't leave if I was Kiffin because I mean you're already showing holes in your game. I mean at Ole Miss, but you're never going to be more well liked than you are there. And I mean they're getting good players, and I mean it's a pretty nice place if you've ever been down there. Mm-hmm. The Grove is beautiful, so. I mean, I wouldn't go anywhere.
But Ole Miss, I mean, they're just never going to be over.
I mean, that's probably true.
You know what I mean?
That's probably true.
There's like the upper teams, what I consider upper, and let's just use this year for example, right? Like Georgia's up here, Tennessee's up there,
Oregon.
No, I'm just talking SEC.
Oh, SEC, yeah.
So you got like Georgia, Tennessee, and then like whoever you want to put in there, like Texas is right there.
Yeah.
And then if you told me to classify Oklahoma, since they're made the great decision to go to the SEC. And Ole Miss and LSU, they'd be like in a straight line. It's like you guys are kind of down here with LSU with the potential to whatever. Just Ole Miss.
I think they kind of underachieved this year.
They definitely did. But like, here's what I know. I think you're right about Kiffin. I think he should stay put unless like a huge job comes open. But there's a good chance that Florida State's going to be looking for a coach. I don't want him to be.
I don't think he's going to survive.
I don't think he's going to survive. I think if he wins this weekend, he might get a reprieve. Maybe.
Oh, dude.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I feel like they should have already fired him.
I think they let him get rid of all the coordinators as kind of a last ditch effort. I guess that was kind of, because they always give the coach with that option. They're like, well, you can fire your whole staff,
or we're going to fire
you because you wouldn't fire them, and then we're going to fire him anyway. Sometimes the coach will go down with the ship, and Norvell was like, nope, I'll fire him.
Yeah.
But
he gets to keep more of that buyout money now.
Right. I think if I don't know, man, if they lose bad against Florida this weekend, I think he's toast. I don't see how he's not going to be anyway. But if they get blown out, there's absolutely no way. I mean, stranger things have happened, but if they get blown out, there's no way he's going to be retained.
But he's a good coach.
Who are they going to get? I mean, in this world, I mean, you're in a conference now where now you're not playing as well, and so now the lawsuits and stuff are rescinded. It kind of put a little egg on your face. Mm-hmm. You're in the ACC while you gained SMU, who came out of nowhere and won the whole flipping thing. Which, I mean, I think that shows, honestly, weakness within the conference that's what happened. Of course, I mean, Texas is high in our. I mean, they're going to play for the title game. So I mean, I don't know.
I mean, Jimbo Fisher's out there. Just saying.
My God, there's no way, man.
I wouldn't think so either.
I think that fence got busted up too much, and they can't.
I honestly don't think they're going to fire Norvell. I really don't. I think here's the thing. You and I were talking about this before. There's some schools that have a lot of money.
Yeah.
Texas A&M, loaded.
Yeah.
Bama, loaded. LSU, loaded. Tennessee's not loaded, but they ain't no slouch.
No.
They got some money there. Texas.
No, and we're getting better. We're getting better, too.
Yeah.
Especially now that we paid everybody off that we fired, so we do have more surplus.
Oklahoma, loaded, which always surprises me because their team, you would just expect it to be up there. Ohio State,
loaded.
Oregon's got Nike money, right? Like, I mean, that's
Phil.
Yeah. Florida State,
no.
They got a bunch of boosters, man, and if they have to come together to do something, like when they got rid of Taggart and got Norvell, like they came together.
They can.
They made it happen, but it hurt. And now it's not even a question of will they fire him. It's can they afford to fire him, because you can't go through another 3 years of a Willie Taggart.
Well, that's true, too.
Because, I mean, that dude came out tomahawk chopping in his first press conference, and I'm like, this is the dude? You ran Jimbo Fisher out of town for this guy. This guy. I love Florida State. Me too, buddy.
That's why you gone.
And they didn't ask me to be the coach. So I don't know. I don't think they had the money to fire him. Maybe they'll come up with the money, but then who are you going to get?
Right. I think that's the biggest thing. I don't know, man. I think he is a good coach. I do.
Shane Beamer?
Oh, my goodness. Him and dadgum Eli Drinky poo. Those guys are used car salesmen. They're worse than Butch Jones.
Can I tell you? That's pretty bad.
They're worse than, but they're winners at life. Shut up.
Can I tell you something about South Carolina, though?
I'm ready. They could easily be undefeated.
I think they're the most underrated team in the SEC.
No,
and maybe the country.
They could be undefeated.
That team with some better coaching is undefeated.
That's right. He's the weak link.
100%.
He actually is the weak link.
100%.
I agree.
I mean,
100%.
that team should have beat Bama.
Yeah.
There is no reason on earth they should have lost that game.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
This is a team that should be undefeated right now, and if they were, I wouldn't want to play them.
No.
I mean,
no.
They're just one of those teams. They don't really have superstars anywhere.
Yeah.
It's like playing a really beefed up version of Appalachian State. Like, they're just coming after you. It's us against the world mentality. And maybe that came from him. I don't know.
No, I think if they had different coaching, I think they would be undefeated, and it would be like the team of the century. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious.
I do too. That's a really good team.
Yeah, that's what I think.
So you think Texas they're pretty much a shoe-in, right, for the SEC championship.
I mean, I think it's Texas. Georgia is. So Georgia's in.
Georgia's in.
Georgia is officially in. I think the winner of Texas A&M technically gets in.
Okay.
I mean, I think Texas is going to win.
I think so too.
But so then based on that, then one of them makes it. We don't make it by default, even if we do win, just because we lost to Georgia.
So interestingly enough, then, right? So you're going to have Ohio State getting a rematch against the only team that beat them.
Yep.
And Texas getting a rematch against Georgia, who beat them. Is that right?
I think that's correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yes.
Do you still think Oregon's the best team in the country, or do you think they're the best team in the country?
No, I do not.
Who do you think is the best team in the country?
For me, right now, best team, honestly, in the country. Truth all day. I still think, as much as I hate them, I actually think that when they play their best football, it's Georgia. And I hate Georgia.
They're pretty good.
They're not as good as the other Georgia teams, but when they play good ball,
yeah,
they can beat anybody.
It's pretty tough to beat.
And I mean, Texas is pretty close, but I just feel a little bit of that pretending there. Oregon should not have beaten Ohio State, even though I was very happy because I hate Ohio State.
Me too.
Ohio State will choke because that's what happens with Ryan Day every year. So it's that, it's not them. We know who they are.
Just for me.
I really do think that it's Georgia, and I hate Georgia. But I think I don't know. I'll be surprised if they lose again. They will have to beat themselves. They will straight up, and it could happen. But if you think how badly for 6 games in a row that they played, and they what'd they do? They lost 2 of them, right? Of those, is that, I gotta look at that.
Yeah, Bama beat them.
And was it Ole Miss? No. Yeah, it was Ole Miss. Ole Miss thumped them. Yeah, so Bama beat them. That was in week 4. And that was a shootout. and had they not played such a terrible first half, they would have beat Bama.
Of course they would. Bama let them right back in that game. You can't be up on somebody 4 scores.
So they totally... And then I don't know what the crap happened at Ole Miss. And then, of course, we played them well for a half, and then in the second half, they just stopped everything that we could do. So I don't think they'll lose again. So that's why I really do think it's them.
So honest opinion here. I know what you and I both think of this school. Not really the school, but the football team.
Don't say Notre Dame.
Man.
Don't do it. No.
Hell
no.
This is one of those years that I don't just think that
man.
Here's what I mean. If you watch the way that offensive line plays and their defensive line plays, forget the rest of the team. Forget the quarterback, forget the wide receivers and whatever else. I think they've got a good coach. And if I'm building a football team, I start with the defensive line. That team is scary. Now, I don't know if they can keep up with everybody. Like, I don't know. I don't know.
I think that'll be the true test because, they were always right there with Brian Kelly, and then they'd get in the big games and lay an egg because they couldn't compete. So it'll be interesting to see the way they're put together now because it is different. It's a different
culture there.
And it is. And he's a defensive-minded guy for sure. I mean, they should be undefeated too. They had an off game,
Northern Illinois,
and completely underestimated Northern Illinois, and they lose.
Yeah,
man,
because if they're undefeated right now, they're probably number 1.
Oh yeah, gosh, yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. I think they would get the nod over Oregon.
I think they would too.
They would be number 1. Oregon would be number 2. Texas number 3. Maybe Ohio State
because Nike's big, but NBC is bigger.
That's correct, and it's Notre Dame. It's that tradition. For decades, So I think they would be number 1. I can't believe they got beat by Northern Illinois.
Yeah. That's their one mulligan, right? I
don't think they're gonna. We're gonna get SEC's gonna get 3, if not 4 teams. I think we'll get 3. If we lose, then I don't know what it's gonna be really screwed up. If we win, then for sure you've got Texas, Georgia, and us in the playoff. And I think that's how it should be.
Yeah.
I still think if Georgia, and I hate Georgia, everyone knows this, but if Georgia plays like they're supposed to, I don't see anybody. Oregon's not going to beat them.
Yeah.
Ohio State's not going to beat them. Kirby's a better coach. Say what you will. They just find ways to win. It's if ETN gets healthy, that's another. They've got their running back. And I just think it's just a different atmosphere.
So let me run down the list of the top 12 teams according to the college football playoff rankings.
Yes.
And you tell me if that ranking is accurate or not, or if it's like, nah, they're not going to get in.
Okay.
Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
Oregon.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to get in, right?
Yes. They're getting in. Would I rank them number one? Yes. Right now, I think
I think so.
They should be number one.
Number two is Ohio State.
Yes.
It's hard to say no to that.
Yes.
And I agree. And they're going to win this weekend. So they're going to kill Michigan.
Yes, I agree.
3 is Texas.
Yes.
4 is Penn State. Oh, we hesitating on the Penn Staters. State College getting you.
I mean, I think they deserve to be there. Now, their big game, they lost.
And the other games have been awful.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, so do I think they should be fourth? No. Are they going to get in? Yeah, they're going to get in. They're going to get in.
I mean, you would think so, right?
Yeah. Do I like it? No, I don't. I don't like it at all.
I mean, they beat West Virginia, Bowling Green, Kent State, Illinois,
That's what I'm saying.
UCLA, USC, only by 3.
That's what I'm saying. They have not beaten. Right. No.
And they're playing Maryland this week.
That's what I'm saying. So they're going to be 11-1. So yeah, they're going to get in.
Yeah.
But should they be there? No.
Notre Dame's 5.
I would put them above Penn State.
I would agree with that. The U is 6.
I would put them above Penn State.
I would too. Georgia's 7.
I would put them above Penn State.
So
They're getting in. I mean, I think even so. Here's the way I see this happening. If Georgia is 10-2 and plays in the SEC title game, number one, I think they're going to win. But number two, I think even with 3 losses, if they play in the title game, I think they still get into the playoff.
Okay.
Because I mean, if you look, they played. They shouldn't have lost to Bama, but again, you lost to a good team, and then you lost to Ole Miss, which is not a bad team. Also on the road,
it's still not as credible as a win now that Bama's lost 3 games.
No, true. That's true.
They've lost some.
That's true.
Stuff there.
That's true.
So,
but they did lose. The Vandy loss really hurt them.
Yeah.
Losing to us. We beat them 2 out of the last 3 years. That's pretty cool for us. But that again, that reflect bad. But then, yeah. So they should only have 2 losses instead of 3.
Yeah.
That is truth.
Number 8's Tennessee.
I think if we win, we're getting in, and I think we should 10-2 us.
Okay, I agree
with a loss to Georgia, Arkansas. We played like crap, but it's also hard to win at Arkansas.
It's hard to win at Arkansas.
We talked about that. Even off air, just saying, hey, it's a hard thing to get there.
Yeah.
So I think if we win, we should be in, and I'm okay. I think we should be in the top 10. I do think we're a top 10 team.
Okay. After Tennessee is SMU.
This one bothers me because this is their first year. Like I said, obviously Texas, same deal. They're the tops in the ACC, and what's crazy, I guess we'll find out when they play Miami what's really going to happen, because Miami is a good team.
Miami's going to wax.
So that's what I kind of hope for.
That's what's going to happen.
And so then the question becomes, okay, you finally played somebody and they beat the crap out of you, because, if you're looking at this, they don't have a win. They beat Louisville back when Louisville was 22. And then I guess Pitt. I guess they're really, their only good win was against Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And it was at home. They weren't having to play Pitt at Pitt. Playing Pitt at Pitt is a different deal.
Way different.
So, you almost lost to Duke, should have lost to Duke. And then otherwise, they haven't really played anybody who was strong. And they lost to BYU.
Yeah.
Who's kind of falling apart now.
Yeah.
So, at home. So, BYU beat them at Southern, Methodist. I don't think they should be there. And I think once they get waxed, I think that exposes them. And I think they might actually fall out and not make the playoff.
Indiana.
And that's going to be interesting if Clemson gets 10 wins. Does Clemson get? We're coming at Indiana. I mean, they didn't look great after that first drive against Ohio State. They don't have big wins. This is another one of these. What do you do with them? Because they're going to finish 11-1. I don't think they're going to lose again. So, I mean, they're playing Purdue, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think they're going to win because Purdue is terrible. So they're going to be 11-1. So they're going to get in. Should they be there? I don't know. And so I'm kind of with them and Penn State. Them and Penn State are kind of in the same boat, in my opinion. But I think because they only have one loss, I mean, who else are you going to throw in over top of them?
They lost to Michigan, or they won against Michigan by 5 points. Michigan's awful.
True, and Michigan's not good.
They were
right?
ranked 5th in the country, and Ohio State scored 38 straight points on them.
Correct.
They got their ass kicked.
Yes, their touchdown at the end of the game was pretty much meaningless.
Oh, yeah. The
Like I said,
2-point
their
conversion.
first drive,
yeah.
they looked good, and then after that, Ohio State just imposed
And
their
that
will
tells
on them.
me that you spent a whole week scripting your first 15 plays.
Yes, and then after that, yeah,
And then you got to, like, coach.
right. Then you had nothing because you didn't have superior players for sure. Yeah, I put them in there with Penn State. They'll get in. I don't like it.
11, Boise State.
Boise wins out. I'm good with that. I mean,
Okay.
Janty and all that. I mean, I think that's legitimate for the Mountain West to represent. And if they do finish 11-1, I do think they deserve a shot.
So now here's where it starts getting tricky.
Yeah,
12 is Clemson, 13 is Bama.
yeah,
So Clemson's not going to be in the ACC championship game.
right. Which this is interesting, but also Bama's not going to be. Bama's got to beat Auburn, so Bama's got to finish 9-3. Clemson, got to play South Carolina. Not a gimme game. So I actually think it looks better for Clemson if they win. I don't know if they'll beat them. And I don't like South Carolina at all. I mean, my dad, I remember one time we were driving on vacation and I'd forgotten my football and I wanted to get a South Carolina Gamecock football. And my dad got his PhD from Clemson.
Yeah.
He would not let me buy the football. He was like, you just won't have one on this beach trip. And I was like, Dad, I want. He's like, I'm not buying that. I'm absolutely not. So I've never liked South Carolina.
That's a good man.
And then Beamer makes me like them not even less.
Yeah.
So, but if they're 10-2, I think SMU gets rocked by Miami. I think Clemson jumps SMU and gets in. And I think SMU ought to fall out. And then, honestly, I don't know where that leaves us. Do you let another SEC school jump in there?
So
That's where the controversy is
That's
gonna
my
be.
question, because you got Bama sitting there with 3 losses, and that'll only be 3. And then if South Carolina wins, they're sitting there with only 3 losses.
Right.
And,
And that's why they keep saying 4 SEC schools are going to get in, because they're saying one of those between Alabama, I don't think Ole Miss now, Alabama, South Carolina, somebody in there is going to get an extra win.
the key element with South Carolina, if they beat Clemson, to me, is week 6 or 7. They lose to Bama. The next week, they beat Oklahoma 35-9. And we know what Oklahoma did to Bama.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
So it's kind of hard to, so I'm just throwing that out there.
I think they'll have. It's gonna. I mean, even though they thought they would kind of get away with it with having 12 teams now, and not as much exclusion, they're at the bottom. You're going to have a potentially really difficult situation. Now, here's what I think could happen. So, say South Carolina beats Clemson, and then I think if South Carolina beats Clemson, South Carolina's gonna jump over the top of them. They'll keep SMU instead.
Yeah.
And then South Carolina bumps Clemson out, and I think South Carolina leapfrogs Alabama and Ole Miss, and then South Carolina gets in. So a win for South Carolina, and I actually think they'll be the 4th.
I think there's a real chance South Carolina gets in and Bama gets left out.
Now, if we lose, I don't know where that's going to leave us then. I think that probably leaves us out, and they'll probably take Bama with a win. And then again, if South Carolina wins, so then you'd have Alabama, South Carolina, Georgia, and Texas.
I don't
like it one bit.
I don't know. That's going to be tough.
I don't know how they're, but
because what do you do?
But they don't like us. I mean, we're just not, we're not that favored team. So, and don't forget ASU. ASU wins. They're 10-2. Mm-hmm. Coming, out of the Big 12. So, I don't know. Where does that leave
what
them?
about Tulane? Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Who do they play? The Green Wave. Who do they play? They play Memphis, who's also 9-2. Interesting. I mean, you're right. I mean, they could have 10 wins. They could be sitting there with 10 wins. It's going to be hard. Well, you're going to have a lot of 9-3 potentially. If Clemson wins, then the question becomes: Do you let another SEC school jump?
Yeah.
If SMU gets thumped, do you let another SEC school get in? And what I think that could happen. But here's what the right thing to probably do is say, yeah, but they played in their conference championship. It's not their fault that they lost.
I almost think.
But that happened last year, and we saw what they did last year. So you do have precedent.
I think that now you have 12 teams. I think a fair way to do it, and you're not going to agree with this probably, but I think if you play in your conference championship, you're in.
I mean, I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think that's
an easier way to get at least rid of some of the teams.
No, I mean, I think that's legitimate because the way it's designed now, I mean, you've got to have a good record to get into your conference championship now. I mean, you got more than 2 losses, it's going to be hard to get into your conference championship.
Yeah.
For the Big Four, for the Big Four, it's going to be at least.
And there you go. You take those 4 championship games. There's 8 teams. And then round it out with the last 4.
No, I'm actually not against that. I think that's legitimate, and I think that does take a lot of the argument out of it because you would really, and then you'd have the at-large of the Power 5, you would or Middle 5, sorry, get one of the champion from that, and then that's 9, and then really you only have 3 at-large.
Yeah, and then you can just keep Notre Dame out every year.
Right.
Don't want to join a conference.
Right. It's like, you should have.
We're having sex with the peacock.
You joined them in basketball, so why not?
Well, they play an ACC schedule too,
Right,
which is
right,
so stupid.
Which is stupid, but they won't affiliate the football. It's so dumb.
So I forget what we said at the beginning of the year, national championship. I really forget. I honestly forget.
I think you said. I feel like you said Alabama, or maybe I said Alabama.
I think I said Oregon. I had to go back.
Did you really?
Yeah, I think I did.
Man, we'd have to go back and look.
I'd have to go back. I really think I picked Oregon.
I said somebody in the SEC just because I always do that.
Of course.
I'm not picking.
Of course.
It just means more SEC.
I'm not sure, but maybe I said Oregon and Tennessee.
You might have. I did not pick us. I know I didn't. I mean, I felt like we could make the playoff. I did think that.
Yeah.
Would I have said Georgia again?
I don't think you would have. Maybe. I don't know. We tend to be honest, so
We'll have to go back.
I'll have to go back and listen to that show.
Yeah, because I've already forgotten.
Yeah, I have to.
Too much Captain D since then.
It's been a minute, for that.
Yeah.
This
But still pretty cool stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
and I mean, we ain't even talking NFL because it's, I mean, right above my head. It's very depressing. I picked them to take the whole thing home,
know.
man.
I know.
Niners.
Now I can pull
What
for the Bills.
heck, man? Why can't anybody get healthy?
I don't know. It's every year.
Buffalo.
Yeah. Except last year. They were healthy most of the year. That was their shot last year with this team, I think.
Stupid Mahomes.
Yeah. No. Whatever.
There's always next year. Win one for the Gipper.
Win one for the Gipper, Ronald Reagan.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you, folks. Thanks to all of our listeners out there, viewers. This was show 82 of the Dave and Doc podcast.
Hang on just a second. Cut. Just kidding. If you know, you know.
The rim's rocking.
Don't
All
come
things
knocking.
Dave and Doc on our website at Dave and Doc. Now you got me all flustered now.
That's Dave,
you go.
A-D, Doc, D-O-C.com.
There you go.
Thank you, Germany. Thank you, Canada. Thank you, everybody that's listening to us. We're glad to be back. Glad to do a show. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you and yourn. And remember,
Go Lions.
with that turkey,
Go Vols.
if it's not big enough, pump it up.
Knock, knock.
No.
Bye.
Bye.